Hey everyone, we are back with the Week 12 NFL predictions. Last week I was 9 and 5. That 9 and 5 prediction brought my total to 106 and 58. So let's see if we could do better and try and get closer to that 150 win mark, which is where I want to be by the end of the year. First off, we are starting out with a matchup on Thanksgiving, our first of three Thanksgiving games. Lions are always a Thanksgiving game, same with the Cowboys. We'll get into them later. But first game, Packers at the Lions. I am not trusting Jordan Love yet. He's been looking better, but he is still not the best. Jared Goff had 3 interceptions and yet still won. The Lions defense is just so much better, and therefore I'm gonna have to take the Lions here. I think the kitty goes meow here, and I think that they're going to end up winning by probably 2 possessions. I think they're the better team here, and therefore I have them getting the win. Next up, we are looking at our second matchup on Thanksgiving. We are looking at the Commanders at the Cowboys. This is going to be a pretty interesting matchup. Sam Howell is leading the NFL right now in passing yards. Um, his offense is looking pretty good. His defense has been sacking like crazy. Last week they had 9 sacks against the Giants. Unfortunately, they were not able to pull off the win. Cowboys, when they win, they win. They've been they've been blowing teams out, or when they lose by a lot. So, with that being said, unfortunately, as much as it hurts, I'm going to have to go ahead and give that to the Dallas Cowboys. Uh, I don't think they're going to be heavy favorites here. I think it will end up being a close game, but because of everything said before, I think the Cowboys will end up taking it. Next up, we are looking at San Fran versus the Seahawks. This is our last Thanksgiving game. This is going to be a very good one. Geno Smith was injured, came back. It looks like he is going to play. San Fran, they have pretty much everyone healthy at this time. This is going to be a game that comes down to a wire. It is a divisional game as well. So therefore, this is going to be a tough one to choose. With all that being said, though, I still have to go with San Francisco here. I think they're the better team. They have the better defense. They have the better offense. Brock Purdy is looking like an MVP candidate, although no one's talking about him. His quarterback rating is through the roof right now. His career quarterback rating is amazing. He had 2 poor games to where he didn't look the best, and after that, he's looking back to form of what he's always been. So I'm going to give this to San Fran for those reasons. Next up, we are looking at the Dolphins versus the Jets. The Jets are going to be at home, and the Jets have no idea what they're doing at this point. They benched Zach Wilson for another backup. It's shambles right now in New York. Miami, however, has the best offense in the NFL. This is actually going to be our Friday our Friday game for Black Friday, our first ever Black Friday game, and unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be a good one. I think it's going to be a blowout. With all that being said, obviously, I said it's going to be a blowout. It is not going to be the Jets blowing out the Dolphins. I think the Dolphins are going to absolutely destroy the Jets. And at this point, I don't think it's going to make sense for Rodgers to come back. He's hoping to come back. That way he can try and make a playoff run. But I don't think it's going to happen. Now we are on to our Sunday games. We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are going to be at home here, which I think is really going to help them. Gardner Minshew hasn't looked the best, but he hasn't looked bad either. Jonathan Taylor is coming to form. He's looking like someone who is worth all the money that he was given. As far as the Buccaneers go, there's starting to be a little bit of quarterback controversy. They're talking possibly throwing in Kyle Trask. Baker Mayfield hasn't looked the worst, but he hasn't looked amazing either. And the Buccaneers are just going to be just under a 500 team the way it looks. With all that said, I think it's going to be a very close game, but I do have the Colts ended up taking this. I think it's probably going to end up only being a 3 point game. I do trust the Colts here a little bit more to take the W. All right, could we just pass on this game? This is going to be absolutely boring. I mean, the Patriots look horrible. The Giants are just as bad. And I guess the only thing here is who's going to end up possibly getting the number 1 seed and getting Caleb May. With that being said, I think the Giants will end up winning it, giving the Patriots, unfortunately, even more of a chance of getting. I said Caleb May. I apologize. Caleb Williams or Drake May is what I should have said. And I think the Giants end up taking this, but this is going to be a game that you absolutely do not need to watch. Just turn it off. Next up, we have what would have been an amazing game had Joe Burrow not been injured. They have a undrafted free agent coming in who does not look the best versus the Pittsburgh Steelers, who offense is absolutely terrible because Kenny Pickett doesn't know how to throw a football. However, the defense of the Steelers is much better than the defense of the Bengals. Therefore, because of that, I have the Steelers winning. I have TJ Watt probably getting 3 sacks here. I think he's going to end up breaking his own sack record. He tied it last year. I think he's going to end up breaking it, and I think the Steelers take this one by 10. Next up, we have two rookie quarterbacks. We have Bryce Young at Will Levis. Bryce Young has been starting to come along. He's starting to look a little bit better. He finally has more touchdowns than interceptions. His quarterback rating is slowly getting better. And then we have Will Levis, who had an amazing first game and completely cooled off after that. This is going to be a tight battle. However, I do think one team here will come out on top. I have that team actually being the Carolina Panthers. I have them picking up their second win here. And I think that they're actually going to win, like I said, a pretty close game. Adam Thielen looks really good. Bryce Young has been looking better. The defense is what really needs to start turning it around. But I think they end up getting the win here. Next up, we have what might be one of the best matchups of the week. We have the Jacksonville Jaguars coming off a tough loss, and Houston coming off a really close win to Arizona. Arizona looked much better than what was expected. Jacksonville, I'm not sure what happened there, but they did not look the best. I think this is going to be a really close game. If Jacksonville was at home, I think it would not be as close because their fans really help. With that being said, no matter what, I'm going to give it to my Houston Texans. I've taken them pretty much every single week, and thankfully, I haven't been wrong that much this year. D'Amico Ryans has them playing phenomenally. CJ Stroud, even though he threw 3 interceptions, 2 were off of the receiver's hands. So, with that, I only really give him 1 interception. He looks absolutely phenomenal. Tank Dell looks great, and Will Anderson is really coming on. So, got to give that to the Texans. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. Now we are looking at the Saints versus the Falcons. I think this is going to be a really great matchup, even though both teams are not the best. It looks like possibly another quarterback controversy. The Falcons, it looks like, are getting ready to bench Tyler Heineke again for Desmond Ritter, so I don't know what's going on there. It's like a quarterback carousel. For the Saints, obviously, they have Derek Carr, although he has been injured on and off. But I think the Saints are going to do just enough to get through. I think they are the better team here, and I think they will end up winning that division, possibly with only a 9-8 record. Next up, we have what some people may call the toilet bowl game. However, that, in my opinion, is not the case. The Rams look so much better when Matthew Stafford's healthy. He did not look bad last week. Unfortunately, Cooper Kupp got injured. However, it looks like he may be back. Puka Nacua looks absolutely amazing. They did release their running back, Henderson. But for the Cardinals, ever since Kyler Murray came back, they look like a completely new team. This is going to be actually a great game to watch. And if you don't know what game you want to watch, if you're not watching the Houston Texans, Jacksonville Jaguars, this will be the one to watch at this 1 o'clock time frame. Sorry, at the 4 o'clock time frame. With all that said, I think the Cardinals will end up taking it. I trust Kyler Murray. His throws down the field were absolutely amazing versus the Texans, and it seems like the Cardinals are playing much better with him. Therefore, I'm going to give it to the Cardinals. Our next 4 o'clock game, we are looking at the Browns versus the Broncos. The Browns obviously have lost Deshaun Watson. The Broncos are on an epic winning streak right now, beating the Vikings by only 1 point. The Browns defense, however, is the best in the NFL. So this is going to be an epic matchup. Once again, although many of them don't look that great on paper, if you go to think about it, a lot of these are going to be great games, and this is another one. This is going to be a defensive game. There is only one reason I'm giving this to the Broncos. It is in Denver. It is so hard to play there when it is not your home stadium. They get so loud there. It is like having the 12th man with Seattle. Because of that and that alone, I am giving it to Denver. Russell Wilson is looking much better. And although they are the number one defense, I got to give it to the Broncos here. And now we are looking at possibly a Super Bowl matchup. A lot of people are saying the Bills are out of it. However, they looked much better last week. And the Eagles coming off a huge win against Kansas City. I've been rattling my brain of who to take here. A lot of people are like the Eagles are going to win no matter what. However, Buffalo looks so much better last game, and I love Josh Allen. Jalen Hurts is amazing as well, but we shall see. I ended up taking Buffalo. I was back and forth on this one. I think it's going to be a very close game. The only reason I'm giving it to Buffalo is I think Josh Allen wants to put himself back into that MVP conversation. And I think the Buffalo Bills are going to sneak in and get the wild card just because of how many teams' quarterback are injured. Next up, we have a rookie quarterback against the best quarterback in the NFL. We have Aiden O'Connell versus Patrick Mahomes. Aiden O'Connell hasn't looked that bad. He threw for just under 300, one touchdown, and then he started throwing picks in the second half. Kansas City is very upset here. Obviously, they lost to the Eagles in the fourth quarter, and therefore, I don't think this is going to be a close game. I think Kansas City is going to run all over and pass all over Oakland. Sorry, not Oakland, Las Vegas. Keep forgetting that they moved. I think Max Crosby will probably get to the quarterback one or two times, but Kansas City is just going to blow him out. I think it's going to be possibly a 3-touchdown game of Kansas City winning by. Now we are into our Sunday night game, and it's another terrible one. Unfortunately, the Sunday night games have not been that great, and this is another one. We have the overpowered Ravens, possibly the AFC favorites, versus the Chargers, who just can't get out of their own way. Brendan Staley has no idea what he's doing as a head coach. Justin Herbert looks good. Austin Eckler looks really old, though, which is baffling because last year he looked absolutely amazing. This is just not even going to be close. Obviously, I'm taking the Ravens here. They're a much better team. Like I said, the Chargers, I don't know what they need to do, but I think at this point they're in rebuild mode. They just don't look the best, and the only good part that they really have going for them at this point is Bosa and Herbert. Besides that, they're a team that really needs to be rebuilt. And last up, we have a rivalry game of the NFC North. We have the Bears at the Vikings. The Bears looked like they were actually going to win last week. Uh, he got sacked right at the last second, Fields strip sack for a safety, and if it wasn't for that, the Bears might have actually beat the Lions, so they have been playing pretty good ball since Fields got back. And as far as the Vikings go, they lost at the very last second this last Monday night. So I think this is going to be a very, very good matchup once again. However, I got to give this to the Vikings. I think they're a better team, but do not sleep on the Bears. They have been looking much better of late, and that's probably a bad thing for them because they have so many picks, and they could probably trade down their picks because they have a lot of good pieces in play. But if they keep playing well, their picks will actually end up being a little bit later. So please let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you agree with me. And also, let me know your record. Where are you at on the year? Please like, comment, subscribe. Have a great day.